Hi, my name's Keith and I'm known as the Florida Stone Man, and today I'm going to be making a video for my car, which I haven't done for a very long time. But in today's video, I'm going to be teaching you about how to starve a very, very ancient enemy. Well, it's not too ancient, it's somewhat recent, but watch my past series because this is going to be a good video. So I've taught about fear, and I've done about a few of them so far, maybe in 2 past videos. So mainly, like yesterday's was fear, so watch yesterday's video if you haven't already, but today's is anger. This one's extremely important because these set of beings, and any set of beings in general, will try to attack you simply by you getting angry, and it doesn't have to be at anything. This is actually a very special video topic because I'm going to talk to you very in depth about what is anger? What is anger? I taught about fear and how this much fear can keep you safe, and it's good, and it helps you have a motive for life, but then you don't use the fear as fear. You basically transmute that energy. You fear God, most importantly. You fear what happens as a result of consequences, but you don't live in fear. You don't ever live in fear, especially if you trust in the Most High. It's oil and water. Fear and trust, they don't exist together. If you're in a relationship with someone and your relationship is full of fear, that's not a relationship anymore. Now you'll repel the person just by having fear of the relationship or what's going to happen, what's not going to happen. It makes it very uncomfortable. Fear can also set you ablaze spiritually. It can just invite in all, because entities can smell fear. They can literally, like their nose, they'll smell fear. That sometimes they would not have known you exist. Well, they know you exist, but they wouldn't really have your attention, or them have your attention, unless you were fearful. But in this video, I'm talking about anger. So everyone has their own weaknesses. So I'm breaking this up into categories because this is so important that this video will change your entire life. You'll realize that not every one of your emotions is actually yours. Sometimes it's just your emotions is something you're taking on because an entity is sending it to you. It's doing some kind of, because you have to keep in mind, entities will talk and they'll whisper to you, and what they say to you, they can say, oh, you're worthless, and then you'll just hear in your head as them saying you're worthless. It translates because it's your thought pattern, and there's a spiritual law that basically says that when an entity or a being says for example, when you hear your guide say you're so loved, and you hear I'm so loved in your head, you don't hear it as you're so loved. You hear it as I'm feeling loved, because that's how that spiritual law works. So they can't directly say you're this, or you can't just hear it in your head like that unless you're fully clairaudient. Now another example is they'll send you things like, oh, you're in trouble, there's something after you, and then you'll get uncomfortable. You'll feel something like something's weird is up. Now, I've made an entire video about fear, but that's a little bit more about that video because it leads on to this video. So, yeah, anger is a very important one because they look for your shadows. They look for they're taking the path of least resistance. So they scroll your mind. Humans have a giant lobe in the back of their heads, like 2 separate lobes, a giant brain. And it's broken up into 2 sections, the right and the left. But on the subconscious level, it has an entire bank of information. So you can just scroll through it because your mind records stuff. You know how you have photographic memory? It's photographic traumas, photographic happy events, photographic anything. So they could just scroll through your memory. It's like an actual computer. These entities, that's why there's an Akashic record, is because it can be saved like a hard drive data chip. Yeah, it makes things very, very interesting, but it leaves you very open as well. So what can they do once they access your computer? And yeah, pretty much anything can access your computer. You can use a crystal such as black tourmaline or amethyst. It cuts them back at about 90%, 95%, but then they really can't read the rest. But you can't ever hide the rest because nothing ever can truly be hidden in the astral realm. Wonderfully explained. So if you're someone who's likely to get angry, and you don't even have to call it anger, they'll find a different word for it. So they'll look for you to be upset, dismantled, irritated, most importantly, overstimulated. So as someone who has a lot of fire in their sign, things used to get me upset. So something would happen, I'd drop beads on the floor, and you better believe, if you have beads and sometimes you drop them all over the floor, back then I had to get upset. I'd be like, like, why I just dropped all these beads on the ground? I might as well just throw them out. And it makes you just feel like giving up, right? Well, an example is you're on your way to work, you spill coffee on your shirt, you're supposed to meet several people that day, etc. Now you're feeling guilt and shame and all this, and I'll talk about that as well. Guilt is another one coming up. I'll be recovering some of these as well, but anger is the one that I'm talking about. So they'll elaborate on feelings of you being angry. Now, what is this? And all they have to do, because your mind is not just in your brain, it's in your other chakras too. Your solar plexus chakra is actually your second mind, just like how they say your calves are the second heart, and etc. So the body is older than the mind itself, which is really interesting, right? So what happens when you get angry? You start feeling warm. You start feeling very hot. You start feeling very agitated, very irritable. If one thing happens, it seems crazy. You start, and this is where people don't really put two and two together. When you're angry and you're in a bad mood and you start taking it out on other people, you can't make them angry, but they do usually let it in because they trust you. And now they're angry, they're agitated, and now it's not just you being angry. Now you made someone else angry, and even if you calm down, that person's bouncing anger off of you. So sometimes people will just test you because you're calm in general. So that's why they'll elaborate on the feeling of anger, because once you get to a point where you're just not, if you're in the vibration of anger, then your blessings are put on hold. It's kind of like what they say online, a freezer spell of your blessings. Anger is a freezer spell on your blessings. It'll thaw when you stop being angry. Anger does not get into the kingdom of God. So if you're upset, if you're mad, if you're angry, and that's how they can get in. They can get in because you get angry. So when you're angry, you know how you look to your angels when you're angry? You go from looking like this to like looking like this. It's like, it starts like here. This is a better example. I'm gonna, like, you start getting, look, you see the fog on the lens? That's a cool example. I'm gonna have to wipe the lens off. So it starts getting foggy, and it starts getting foggier, and it starts getting foggier, and you get the point. My hands are clean, so I can't really fog the lens, so I just wipe the lens off. But you get very foggy to your angels, and if they can normally touch you, now you're like kind of like feel through to them. So you're kind of like, they can't really feel you. It's like them, it's like faint. That's why you feel the hair sometimes. So they can't help you as much when you get angry. You actually leave the vibration of the angelic realm when you take on feelings of anger. And as above, so below. So once you're able to get angry, once you let yourself get angry, because no one, I like to make this very clear, no one can make you angry. Someone's like, oh, I disagree with that, because people like to comment, oh, I disagree with that, but they don't type anything after. No one can make you angry. It's about what you let in and what you don't let in. We have all the free will that God allows us. He gave so much free will to the point where even angels have free will, and they don't have to be angels. They can be demons if they want, but they can't be around God, and they'll go to a very specific place upon end times. So when you let these feelings of anger in, what's the opposite of an angel? So instead of your angels helping you, you actually got in the distance, because remember, hell is down here, and you're dropping towards that dimension, the energetic dimension of hell. So hell is both a physical place and it's a spiritual place as well. It's 2 in 1. People are like, oh, it's just physical, oh, it's just spiritual. No, it's both. It is both. So it'll feel like things, because keep in mind, the time up there goes by quicker. This is when they're celebrating up there above the firmament. They're having a good time. Everything's good. When you're in the presence of God in the heavens, then time goes by a lot quicker and you enjoy your time. But when you're not enjoying yourself, when you wish, like, what happens when you're just in a rut, you're bummed out, you want time to go by faster. Like, why can't time go by? It's because you're closer to the vibration of hell than you are heaven. Earth is in between the two. Even when you fly up in an airplane, some airplanes, the closer you get to the firmament, the more clocks slow down. So there's a time difference up there than there is down here physically. And so the same thing applies in hell. So time will start slowing down for you. That's why your blessings slow down. It's because when you get angry, that vibration that you get in, your blessings will take about 100 times longer. And it'll feel like time's not going by. That's one way you can tell, is when things just feel like they're so slowed down. So you can slow down too. But when you get angry, it's because no one can make you angry. That's the thing. You cannot get angry because someone else made you angry. It's what you let in. One thing I'd highly suggest, for example, if you have to deal with someone, if you have to deal with something, a situation, and you're still putting yourself together, make sure you have your guard up, your shields. So identify when is a good time for certain things. Maybe you have to set something straight, set someone straight, set an event straight, etc. So are you going to do it when you're like, you just woke up, you're a little tired out, you just finished the workout, so like you're a little bit down, or like not down, you're a little bit like just days, it's like when the weather is not your favorite, etc. Just using it as an example. The weather is always good and sunny in Florida, even though it's not sunny here right now, but it was still sunny earlier. But the point is, you have to understand that once you're in the vibration of anger, you let yourself into that vibration. So you can suppress the anger. You can suppress, and my videos might seem kind of familiar, or they might just seem a little more redundant, but they have to be redundant because it's going to be helping you. So once you let the anger in, it takes a hold. So now demonic entities, trickster spirits, they weren't able to touch you before. You were foggy just like you were with your angels after you got the vibration of anger, but now you're crystal clear. And now they're seeing you and they're just like, ooh, hello, I can actually put my hands on you now. Like, I can actually feel you, because they couldn't feel you before. Once they feel you, they'll play with your head. That's why when you get angry, your head starts pounding. Spiritually, this is a spiritual video. That's your crown chakra. So the crown chakra blockage of that is, they'll go for your head, your third eye, your throat. So those will all kind of, and your neck, because that's your gateway. Someone called that God's mouth. I don't know about that name, but it's a really interesting way to look at it. I have to study more into what that actually means before I make a judgment on it, or a personalized opinion or fact or whatever. But you get what I'm saying. So that's why I also recommend necklaces. So when you get a necklace from FloridaStoneman.com, the chain, and they're not this big. They're the size of these beads. They go on the back of your neck and they prevent you from absorbing a whole bunch of energy that you shouldn't be absorbing. That's why crystals such as smoky quartz and black tourmaline. Smoky quartz is one of the best anti-anger crystals ever because it absorbs the anger. Howlite's one of the best anti-anger crystals ever. Black tourmaline is one of the best howlite. If you're someone who specifically feels like yelling and screaming, I have howlite on my crown. That's moonstone, but howlite's back there. So if you feel like yelling and screaming, it basically just puts off a vibration of, I don't feel like howling anymore. Howl is now light. It's a howlite. Makes your howl light. So another thing you guys can do when you guys are supposed to get angry, because if you notice in this day and age, if you're ever happy, someone will try to knock you out of you being happy very quickly, especially if you live in Florida. I remember, and sometimes it'll kill a person. It'll kill them on the inside if you're nice to them when they wanted to make you mean. I'll give you guys an example. I went to a restaurant and a woman was viciously nasty with me. And she was viciously nasty with me. Like, she was walking away, dropping stuff, etc. She was throwing a fit. I could have said something to the manager and she'd have gotten in very big trouble. But I basically said, I'm like, hi, how are you? How are you doing? Like, are you okay? Are you feeling good? Like, how's your day? Like, I hope you're doing great. I was just being nicer, and she was just like, because she couldn't be mean anymore. She's like, she was shocked. I came back the next day because the restaurant was in the area of what I was doing stuff in the area for videos, and then same thing. She wanted to be angry and mean to me, and anger is contagious, so it'll get passed from person to person to person. So once you stop the cycle, you're actually creating a new karma. It's not just a karma in your life. So that person could have been to the point where they wanted to go off a ledge because they were so angry at themselves or so angry with their life. But people view, oh, if they're going to be angry with me, I'm going to be angry with them. Two wrongs does not make a right, and God does not like ugly. If you're being the highest version of yourself, if you're being a good person, recognize that your anger is not your own. You have to understand these certain set of beings who I've been talking about, the W words, I've been calling them. I say W words, not their actual name, because I'm not going to get their name light. And some people are not as protected, so I won't say their full names. But 200 of these beings are angry because they're not going to get back into heaven. Angry because when end times come, that they're going to be pretty much tortured. They're being tortured now, but these beings are in a place of anger and anguish and agony and sorrow, and because they did cry. They did cry when God rejected their prayers and said, you won't be able to be heard when you're underground. So it did make them upset. So all they have to do, energy can't be created nor destroyed. They have to just send you, they just send you their anger, and you feel it. So it'll take the path of least resistance. So if this is an anger energy ball, which this is just, it's Florida Snowman, so this is a happiness energy ball. A happiness energy ball sent towards you, you can feel it in a video, it just makes you a little more happy. But if those beings are just sending angry energy balls towards you, you'll be angry, but you won't know what you're angry about. And then it will just take the path of least resistance and go upon anything you're angry at in the current day or not happy with or irritated with. Usually if you're in a rush, that's the easiest way they can get in. A rush is the easiest way they can cause accidents and things to happen, etc. But the thing is, you can suppress this anger. Recognize that this anger is not your own. Anger is an emotion for God. And yeah, I probably did a video similar on this. I actually don't check my last topic video names, but yeah, I'm just gonna keep this as a series. So when it comes to anger, I might just make if this is a continuous version, I might just make this a part 2 of one of the other videos. But anger is a feeling that you're supposed to give to God. Humans we're not constructive when it comes to being angry. So if we're feeling angry, if we're feeling all these bad emotions and we make judgment, that's not our judgment to make. We're supposed to give it straight to him. For you let him be angry. You let him be upset because he's the one who can control it. He's the one who can just fully change his entire situation and literally make changes that he knows is best, because God is God. He is the Most High. And the thing about this, when it comes to your anger, it's not best serving you, it's not helping you, it's running people off. If you're angry and you're walking around, people can feel it and they don't want to be near you. Or they can feel it and your karma is, you're technically gonna get some karma because your energy wasn't purified before you went to them. Karma is just everything. But the thing is, accept that your anger is not your own. It doesn't come from you. It's not going to be taken into heaven with you, assuming you do go into heaven. But most of the world doesn't. That's when Judgment Day comes, you guys will find out. But the thing is, give your anger to God. Relinquish anger. If you're having trouble with it, practice affirmations. I'm not angry, I'm not upset, I'm not etc. So yeah, do your affirmations for anti-anger. Write down how you feel, identify how you feel. If you're feeling angry, angry and motivated are not the same emotion. So if you'd like to make changes, don't go saying, okay, I'm angry, so I'm gonna do this, because when you're angry, it clouds your judgment. But when you're saying, okay, I'm motivated to make a change, because guess what? Wars were started over anger. They weren't started over motivation. Well, some of them were. Like, I'm motivated to get this land back. No, they're angry and they want their land back. An example. I'm not going to say, because there's thousands of the cases in history, but give your anger to God. I've reminded you in this video what anger really does, and how anger, once you're in the vibration of anger, you do a freezing spell on yourself. It doesn't matter what you care. I mean, if you think that you can get angry and be productive, you're wrong. You can get motivated and be productive, but once you're angry and productive, no, you'll find when you're angry and you're trying to be productive, everything's going to be very slow, because heaven, hell, 2 different vibrations, 2 different time zones. Very good example. If you have any questions, ask them in the comment section. Give your anger to God. Be the best version of yourself you possibly can be. Anger is not yours. Pass it to the creator because he'll take it off of you. And if you like crystals for anger, smoky quartz, black tourmaline, I'll put howlite on the website in the future. Black tourmaline is the best one to get entities away that cause anger, especially these set of entities, the W words I call them. They're not that scary, but just make sure you do what you're supposed to do and don't overreact to certain emotions, because think about it, everything starts with the mind and ends with the mind. Well, most importantly, everything starts with God's love and ends with God's love. Or begins again with God's love. But the thing is, just know that your anger is something you can suppress. You cannot act on it. You can transmute it into something motivational instead of for being angry, and then you'll have better judgment and you'll be more productive about it. If you like your own custom gemstone jewelry, I do make customs as well now. Black tourmaline is something I highly recommend for people who want to keep entities away that cause anger. I do have black tourmaline on my website, floridastoneman.com. It's one of the best crystals you can ever get from my website. It's actually one of the most life-changing crystals. Everyone gets them and their entire family's black tourmaline and necklaces of tourmaline because it does make a giant change. It does stop people from getting angry because the anger comes from within, but entities who are trying to get you angry will stand at a distance and literally throw these energy balls at you until you do accept their anger, which you don't do that. Give it to God. If you have any questions, ask them in the comment section. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.